Hey everyone, and welcome to IG Live Esports. So it's our first official event for the Random Saturday series event, and for today we're going to be doing L2S Classics for their classic race that they usually do on the Saturdays. This week they're doing a 2010 era for what we have here, and we're using our 3 different cars in the session. We're already on the one-shot qualifying that they have going on here right now. We're following on with Infamous as he gets around in the 2010 McLaren there. So we're going to see what sort of lap time he's going to get it along with that. Looks like he's doing pretty well according to the leaderboard there so far, along with Bollocks and Column as well. So we'll see how they finish off their laps for this one here. So we're going to be doing 2 tracks or 25% races each. It's going to be for the Hungarian GP, which we're on that track here right now. And then we're going to head straight over to the Yas Marina circuit for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And we'll see how well it goes for that. So so far, let's just keep an eye and see how this qualifying session is going on through. And he's coming down to the end of the lap there and trying to drift around the final corner. Did not work too well. So let's see who else finishes up. Ace versus King does. Looks like he's going to get across the line. Bollocks looks like he got the fastest lap there. So far seems to be good on that end. We'll talk a bit more about the aspects of the session as we get on through with the race and see how that's going to go. So 14 drivers seem to be in this session so far. It should be quite an exciting race. We're going to have a look at the drivers and their cars in just a bit here as well. But so far so good. Let's see, have a look, and I think we got some good laps in there as well. Alright, so let's have a look. So that was a one-shot qualifying there. Looks like for the Hungarian Grand Prix, we got Bollocks is going to start P1 for that race using the 2010 Red Bull. Column is going to start second. We got Cass Friends starting third, Chappie starting fourth, Saf starting fifth, Ace versus King is going to start sixth. We got Marsh there starting 7, Wayne starting 8, we got Lost Dog starting 9, King Schemo starting 10, we got Spoon Dog started in 11, Infamous 12, Ian 13, Royal Harvey 14th on the grid. And I know they're using 3 different cars from the 2010 era for this session that you are allowed to choose from. That's the 2010 Ferrari, the 2010 McLaren, and the 2010 Red Bull. So gonna be an interesting session. Let's see how these guys get through, how much practice they actually had with this car on the tracks as well, as they do drive just a slightly bit different than our regular F1 and F2 cars that we're used to seeing on track. So going to be a lot of fun to watch this race here as well. Hopefully you guys enjoying what we have going on, and please guys, make sure that you do leave a like on the stream for us, and if you're new on the channel here, make sure you guys subscribe, because we have so many different races going on during the course of the week, but we're just trying to do something different for the Saturdays right now. Every Saturday is going to be something different, and most likely it's going to be with a different league as well, and it's going to be a transition between PS4 and Xbox on the game. So we'll see how that works out, and hopefully with the support from you guys we can have this event working out pretty well. Alright guys, and here we have starting on lap 1 already. Let's have a look how clean of a start everyone is getting through, and we got some cars getting off track already, having a pretty bad start there. And we got Castor France and Chappie leading out front, getting through turn 1 with the Ferrari of Marsh, I think, getting in the middle of that. So let's see how that's going to go through. Castor France seems to have gotten the lead away from the start of the race there. Down at the back, we still got a few cars chasing behind, and it seems to be going pretty well for the start so far. Let's see if we can get a bit of lap data on, a bit of telemetry on as well, and maybe details about position changes and what's been happening in the race thus far. But so far it seems to be pretty well, as these cars are getting through pretty quickly. It seems to be flying around the track, and it seems to be a lot of fun to drive here as well. So Bollocks got a pretty bad start on that one. They lost 2 positions on the start. Chappie and Castor France, though, gained as much as they could, going up to the lead out front. So Castor France leading still, Chappie in second, Bollocks still running third. Ace vs King is up to 4th right now, again ahead of Marsh there, and really trying to keep that position as much as he can. Down in the back, we got Ian and Lozdock with a pretty close gap. Ian getting much closer to Wayne Bennett, though, and we get a virtual safety car right now for an incident that started on our opening lap there. So made a contact between quite a few cars down at the back, and we're going to slow this race down for just a bit. It's going to be an 18 lap race for this 25% race here for the Hungarian GP. So just slowing that down to by about 40% on speed in terms of that just for now. so these guys can get settled back a bit until everything clears up on track. There may be just a bit of too much of a debris on track here at the moment, but so far so good as we're looking through with the session here right now and see what's happening, so we can see how much change is happening. We got two cars into the pits there right now. Callum and Infamous probably had some severe damage from the start of the race. Let's have a look down at the back with them. Let's see what's happening with Callum here right now. I know he and Infamous are into the pits as we have it, and they're trying to get that sorted. Yep, they are getting a change of front wing. So let's get back out on track with our leader out in front. That's Castor France here. He is still leading, and now we're back racing again. The virtual safety car is over, and let's see how the rest of the race is progressing on through. Out in front, I think we got our top three running pretty close off to each other. So let's switch this over to, well, tires are going to be on dry for that. And we'll probably take this off for now. I don't think we need that on. Let's have a look on how it's going here. So Chappie's still trying to catch up with Castor France. Bollock still pretty close by to that there as well. Ace versus King is kind of running a bit of clean here and a bit of his own race down the back. We got Wayne Bennett with a bit of a train coming behind of him. So let's keep a look at Ian looking to get by right now in the Red Bull and trying to get past the McLaren. Let's see if he's able to get it. He's going side by side, gets it on the inside around that turn and get ahead. And I think it's Lost Dog coming just behind of Wayne there that gave him just a bit of a tap on the rear of his car, and he's looking to get by on the inside there as well. Let's see if he's going to be able to get ahead. The Red Bull seems to be performing pretty well on the track here compared to the McLarens and the Ferrari. Oh, and a bit of contact down at the back, I think, with Mosh and someone else as they got around the final turn back onto the pit straight. And that's what's happening. Lost Dog getting a pretty good run on Wayne Bennett as they get around turn 1 here and really trying to keep as close as he can to that car here right now. So let's see how that's going. Let's take telemetry off. I don't think we really need that. Just cluttering up the screen right now and just keeping on Lost Dog because a pretty close gap between him and Wayne Bennett at the moment. Of course, out in front we still got a very close gap going on between Chappie and Bollocks. They're fighting for a second place in the race at the moment, so we're going to see how that works out for them by the time we get to the end of the race. But so far so good. It's going pretty well between these guys, as you can see right now. We still got all 14 drivers into the race. Rod Harvey into the pits there down at the back at the moment. And a very, very close gap, as you can see here, between Wayne Bennett and Lost Dog still as they continue to race on through. The McLaren of Spoon is coming just behind, so he's still really trying to keep up as much as he can right now. But Lost Dog looking to get by and not having best of opportunities right now. He's trying to try and take it on the inside, and let's see how that works out for him. Maybe some minor contact, but he seems to be getting through. But of course, let's see if he is able to hold the position. Wayne is trying to fight the back right now with Spoon Dog there and really trying to come back at him, but not unfortunately going to be able to get by as yet as he get back onto the pit straight. And looks like he's going to get the position and be able to hold it, at least for now. Out in front, we got a bit of a gap forming between our race leaders. So let's see what's happening between Wayne and Spoondoggy here. So he's still chasing after Wayne Bennett and trying to get by. Both McLarens fighting off with each other at the moment. Remember, this is not running with teammates, just different cars that they do choose to run with here. And King Schemo has retired from the race, and I think that's happened down there in turn 1. So we're going to try and have, no, sorry, not turn 1, the final turn. So let's see if we can have a look at that right now. And this is Saf's car. And there's his car down into the barriers down in the back there. Just before you get onto the pit straight is where it is. So King Schemo out of the race, unfortunately, first driver out. Let's say the rest of the race continues on through a bit of a gap out front still as we have it here. Going back down to the midfield, we got Marsh still chasing after Wayne now. And he's trying to get by using the Ferrari. Let's see how that's working out for him. As we said, Red Bull seem to be handling pretty well on the track here at the moment. The guys seem to be handling the Red Bull car, the 2010 Red Bull car, pretty well as we have it so far. We're going to get back out in front right now to Ace versus King in the McLaren chasing after Ian there, who's driving a Red Bull. And that gap seems to be closing pretty quickly, and we'll see how fast that's going to work. We're on lap 5 of 18 right now in this race here as we're going on through. Remember, it's a 25% race for the Hungarian GP, and I think we got something happening on track. Is that a safety car or a virtual safety car? I really can't tell at the moment. And that's a full safety car at this point in the race here right now. We got 2 drivers into the pits. That is Wayne and Spoondoggy into the pits. Do they have damage, or are they just taking pits off because of the safety car right now? And I think they're just taking their stock just because of the safety car that we have happening on track. So that's going to cause a bit of a issue here right now as we can see cars getting run. Let's have a look at penalties as we have it here as well. So penalties right now, we got Chappie with a 3-second penalty, Lost Dock with a drive-through penalty as he has it, and we got Marsh there with a 3-second penalty as well. That drive-through penalty definitely is going to hurt Lost Dock quite a bit. We'll see how he goes through with that, because he got that by speeding under the safety car, so that's really not going to help him out too much. And I'm not 100% sure. Oh, I think something happened with Callum, which is what caused the safety car to happen on track. So and Lost Dock has been disqualified from the session, receiving multiple penalties already. Unfortunately for him, he's going to be coming off the track there right now because he's been disqualified. So that now leaves us with about, I guess, about 10 drivers left in the race. And let's see how that's going to work out for the rest of the grid. Out in front, we get our race leaders, Castor France and Chappie, into the pits. And Bollocks here doesn't choose to pit. He's going to continue racing on. So he now takes over the lead of the Hungarian GP. And he's going to continue on through and running quite clearly out in front there, as we can see there right now. And a few more drivers choosing to do their pit stop right now during this safety car that we have happening here on track. So let's see when this safety car is going to be over. Hopefully very soon, so we can get back to some racing here right now. We're on lap 6 of 18 as we have it here right now. Another 12 laps or so to go before we finish off the Hungarian GP and head on over to the Yasmini circuit for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Shouldn't be a fun one there as well. We'll see how the cars handle on that track when we do get to that point. So let's have a look and see what our gaps are at as well. So gaps are going to start to close off quite a bit between most of our cars as we have it here right now before that safety car comes to an end. As you can see, out front, Bollocks is the one driving just behind the safety car as he has it there right now. And I think if we bring tires up, we'll see how many laps they've actually done on the tires for so far in the race. So it looks like Mosh and Bollocks are the only two cars who have not pitted in this race so far. Alright guys, so hopefully we're going to have the safety car probably going on this lap, or maybe another lap more under it, and then we should have that going. So let's have a look how it's going here right now. This here car was spinning around down at the back before I got back on the mic there. So let's see how the grid is lining up as we see it. So we can have a look at position changes at this point as we have it here. And it looks like Ian has gained the most positions in this race so far. So he's looking pretty good at driver of the day on this session. At least for this race, we can say so far. Bollocks there started on pole. He's back on pole again. And he's going to keep running in P1. But let's see how long he's going to stay there with so many cars running very close up behind of him, if he's going to be able to keep that lead as we continue on through with this race. And let's see how that's going to work for him. So two drivers, the only two drivers who haven't taken pit stops in this race so far. We're going to keep tires on, and you guys can have a look at the amount of laps that we've done on them thus far in the race. But as we can have it, as you guys can see, it's a lot of fun driving with these classic cars on the track. Be about just over 10 years ago with these 2010 cars, and there we have a safety car. It's going to be in on this lap, and we can hear the engine sounds are so much more different from the 2020 cars that we're used to seeing on track here, even with the F2 cars, quite different as well, but a lot of fun to listen to and drive as well and watch in these races. So let's see how these guys are going to get on through as they're getting around Sector 3 here right now and about to get back racing, so should be a lot of fun on that end, and let's see how well they get away with that. And they're about to get back started here right now. Keeping focus on Mosh here. Bollocks is going to get away pretty well. Actually, out front, he's being chased by Castle France here right now, who is trying to keep that gap as close as he can. Down the back, Infamous is trying to get by Wayne Bennett there right now. And looks like he might actually get that done on the inside and pushes for that position and gets it up into 6. Let's see if he's able to hold it through turn 1. And we have a McLaren spinning around down at the back, and I think that's... let's see, let's have a look. Who was that? I'm not sure. That might have been Spoon Doggy there. Let's have a look at the rest of it as they get on through. Royal Harvey gaining a position. That's a Red Bull spun wrong. I think that's Royal Harvey there. Nope. That was soft, sorry, that my bad. That was not Royal Harvey, that was soft spinning around. And now we're following on with Spoon Doggy here right now, who has some trouble with Royal Harvey running just behind of him, trying to get by up into 8th place in the race. Out in front for the lead, we got Castle France chasing after Bollocks right now, and a very close gap. Oh, and Castle France loses a car. He's into the barriers down on the side and loses all positions right now. He's trying to get back on track. And he's back on track into 7th place and still not getting grip on those tires back as yet, as he lost it just a bit and spun around. And we got Ian taking over 2nd place in the race right now, gaining more positions as it is, gets past Mosh and takes over 2nd place in this race and continues on to chase after Bollocks now, 3.8 seconds ahead. And let's see if he's able to keep that position as they get around the final turn back onto the pit straight to head into lap 9 as we have it here right now. And got Castle France with a 3-second penalty. And where is he down? He is currently down to 11th on the grid there at the moment. And looks like Mosh is under some pressure right now from Ace versus King, who's trying to get by up into 3rd place and push him down even another position here as it is right now. Let's see if he's able to hold on to that position as he has it. Out in front, Bollocks has a pretty good lead out front though, 3.5 seconds as he has it. Ian's still running 2nd, but a 1.1 second gap between him and Mosh, and Ace versus King has a much closer gap. He's trying to get by Mosh right now, so Mosh is under a lot of pressure in that Ferrari to keep the position if he's able to right now. Of course, Infamous as well coming just behind Ace versus King, so quite a few battles happening on track as we continue on with this race. But Ace versus King getting a bit closer right now to Mosh, and let's see if he's able to get by. Just looking for a gap to work with here, but he's not getting that done as yet. So this might go on for a lap or 2 more. Let's see by the time what happens by the time they get around to the pit straight and get around that slipstream just behind each other, and let's see how that's going to work. Oh, and that is Ace versus King into the barriers down on the side, lost the rear of the car, and he is off track, lost his position and lost a potential P3 position on track here right now. That is Infamous now into P4 and chasing after Mosh. And he takes it on the inside. He's going to get a wrong turn 1 and probably get this position up onto a podium position here. And does get that car up into P3. That is Mosh down to 4th as we have it there right now. So great overtake by Infamous getting up to P3. Not too bad at all. Unfortunate there for Ace versus King. Now down to 10th and into the pits at the moment as we can see. And hopefully he's able to get out in front of Castle France as he's coming around there right now in the final sector as well. Out in front we got Bollocks still leading this race here on lap 10 of 18. He is still leading the race and 3.5 seconds ahead of Ian, who's now up to 2nd place in this race, gaining the most positions so far from the start. Infamous now running in 3rd as we have it there. And that's going to finish off our top 3 so far in the race, at least as we have it. We got a yellow flag down in sector 2. Somebody is off track. I'm trying to have a look on who that was. That was Wayne Bennett there, losing the car, I think. I'm not sure if he had contact with anyone. Seems to have that damage on the front wing of that McLaren there as well. And he's trying to get that back going. He might have to do a pit stop and get that repaired. We'll see how that works for him. Currently following on with Chappie and Royal Harvey here, and a pretty close gap. Oh, and there goes Chappie losing the rear of the car. Now these classic cars are a little bit different to drive, as we said, and you got to be very, very careful as you get onto the power fully on these cars, especially when going around a turn. You can easily lose the rear of the car. As we can see what's happening with some of these guys right now. So very difficult to drive some of these cars as it is. But remember, these guys are all used to the F1 2020 cars and the F1 2019 cars recently from what we had going on last year before the 2020 game came out. But these classic cars, the handling on the cars are so much different compared to the 2020 cars that we do have and are kind of used to on track. So there are going to be a lot of spinning runs happening if these guys don't have enough practice using it. Remember, for their classic leagues, they're using a different era of cars every single week, so they do have to get their practice in for this, which is what makes this so interesting, and which is one of the reasons why I chose to do this for the first random Saturday race, because I did expect that they might not have been up to full practice level with these cars, but it's a lot of fun to watch these cars drive around. The 2010 era was such a good one as well, and we did have the F1 2010 game, which was released by Codemasters in 2010 as well, which was quite an interesting game. I did have a go at that one on PC, not on any other console at that time, because it was quite interesting to play though. Very similar to what we have with the performance of the cars even on the F1 2020 game with it, but very interesting to see how these guys are handling it here right now. We got Infamous and I think Spoondoggy going side by side into turn 1, and we got a Red Bull of Royal Harvey coming just behind there as well. Let's have a look from his point of view what's happening out front. Infamous loses down to 5th as Spoondoggy takes over 4th position in the race and is going to continue racing on through. Let's see if he's able to keep that position, as we got Infamous trying to fight him back for it. And he's going around the outside. Not sure if he's going to be able to get that position up as yet, but he's still fighting it. He's not giving that position up. So Spoondoggy holds on to P4 in the race. Marsh is still P3. Ian still running P2. And a bit of a battle still going on down here for P4 with these 3 cars that we do have. Saf there 7th on the grid with about 6 seconds to catch up. So he has a bit of way to work with as yet. Chappie down in the back into the pits as we have it. And it seems to be going pretty well. And follow on with Royal Harvey here at the moment and see how that's working out for him. And there's another car off track down there in sector 2 there at the moment, as Infamous goes a bit wide and leaves room open now that Royal Harvey is now able to get by. And he's pushing on through to try and get around the McLaren here right now. And does take it on the inside, and let's see if he's able to hold that position true. So far holding it on to P5 as he gets around to the pit straight, and Infamous goes wide once again, having trouble keeping that car stable on track as he has it there right now. And still a very close there. Let's go on board right now. I think he's trying to push it on the inside, but I don't think he has enough of a gap to work with. He does have to be careful about how much he pushes that car and how much he gets onto the power back early as they get off turn 1 there. So still a pretty close gap as we have it. Out in front, Bollock still leading. Ian now 2.2 seconds behind, so he's chasing after Bollock for the lead of the race as we have it here right now. Driving pretty well in this race, I gotta say. Monshare P3 about 11 seconds behind, so Ian has some time to work with a car behind of him, not anything to worry about. And then we got Spoondoggy there chasing after Marsh right now. A very close gap between the two of them, so a fight between the Ferrari and the McLaren there for the final podium position on track. And let's see what that's going on there. Looks like he's going to be losing the car any second now, because he keeps losing the rear of the car. And we got Royal Harvey just behind of him, ready to get by and get ahead up into P4 and fight March for P3 in this race. So 10 drivers remaining in this session as we have it here right now. We're still following on with our drivers on lap 14 as we have it right now. Royal Harvey getting right up to the rear of the McLaren of Spoondoggy there. And he's going to go side by side with him through the pit straight, and let's have a look. He looks like he is getting by right now. Gets back onto the racing line, I think already. No, not on us yet. But Royal Harvey still pushing on to the inside and might actually get that position up. And does get it up into P4 around turn 1. He now has Infamous, who's coming in down the back there in 6 with a pretty close gap as well. He still has a close gap to Royal Harvey. He still might try to get this position back if possible at all here right now. Ace versus King not having the best of luck down in the back there. I think that's him coming. I'm not sure how far away he is, but we'll see how he's getting up to. Cast de France getting very close to Soft down in the back there and will try to get by. Let's have a look at that here right now. And he gets around. So 2 Red Bulls fighting it off. He gets up into 8th position and he's going to hopefully keep that. But Soft fighting it back right now, trying to get around the outside. And let's see if he's able to actually get that position up. But so far, no, it looks like he's going to have to hold it there. So Cast de France holds on to P8 and is going to continue on with the race there right now. Going back up to Royal Harvey, who's ahead in P4 and still holding on to that position. Chasing after Marsh there for 3rd in the race. And looks like he might be able to get it if Marsh makes a mistake, which is quite easy for some of the drivers to do in this particular race session here right now that we do have. We're going to see how interesting it's going to get when we do get to Abu Dhabi in just a bit after this. We're on lap 15 of 18 for the Hungarian GP right now in a 25% race, and it's going pretty well. As we can see right now, Royal Harvey getting a pretty good run on Marsh, using that slipstream as much as he can. Going down into turn 1, he has Spoon Doggy coming just behind as well. Let's see what that's going to work on to say. He's going to have to keep it on the race line going around and tries to take it on the inside. And a bit of contact between them, and he goes into the barriers down on the side. Might have some minor damage, and that is Spoon Doggy trying to avoid contact and ends up into the barriers down on the side off in the grass as well. So quite an interesting bit of a situation happening there. Not sure how many cars took damage off of that, but Infamous definitely took some damage, I think, on the front wing of that McLaren. And Spoon Doggy now up to 4 though, might have taken some damage. I'm not sure if he had contact with the wall as he got a wrong. I tried to avoid damage. He looks like he might have some contact, missing an end plate on the McLaren. The front wings are so much different from the regular cars we're used to, so you gotta just be careful about having a look at them and see if anything is missing, any components are missing on those cars. So Marsh still comfortably running here in P3. Has now 18 seconds gap to catch up to Ian. Of course, Ian out in front doing a pretty good job, has broken the gap down. He's down under a second behind Bollocks for the lead of the race here right now. Could this be a potential overtake for him? And could he be able to take the win for the Hungarian GP? He does have a penalty though, which is going to hold him back here right now. What the penalty is, let's have a look from this point onwards as we go in the race. And we're going to keep on with that. So under a second the gap is. Has a 3-second penalty. He needs to get ahead and get a 3-second gap in order to take the race win here. For this one, and let's see if he's able to actually do that. I won't put it past him. Royal Harvey getting a pretty good run on Infamous, going down the pit straight, and let's see who's going to get this as they get around here right now. Infamous holding on to P5 as we have it, and Royal Harvey has to take P6 through that one there, so he's going to try to fight it back on the inside probably here, and let's see if that's going to go anywhere for him. So it has been quite interesting throughout this race session so far as we have it. And these two are really trying to switch our position. They're going to go side by side a little bit here again. And let's see if Royal Harvey is going to push it on through. And actually gets a pretty good run and overtake there. And he's up into 5th place in the race. So not too bad of an overtake there for Royal Harvey as well. Quite interesting how he got that position up and quite cleanly done. And we got Royal Harvey chasing after Marsh right now. Infamous having a bit of trouble at the back, breaking off his front wing. And a very crucial point in the race on lap 16. He's done this and he was running quite well in P6. Let's have a look here with Royal Harvey, who's trying to get past Marsh. Out in front though, we got Ian trying to take over the lead of the race away from Bollocks here and takes it on the inside. Let's see if he's able to get that position up. Might actually get that overtake away with it and still pushing on through, but Bollocks fighting it back right now. And we're on lap 17 and going up this. It's definitely going to be something if Ian is able to cross the line P1. He might not be able to keep it because of the penalty, but he does need to force Bollocks into a penalty and get by here right now, which is his one chance of finishing and keeping P1 in this race. And it might just happen. We'll see how close that's going to come to that, because he's keeping a very close gap right now to Bollocks' car, and I don't think he's going to give up that position as he has it there, but Bollocks is going to fight it out pretty hard and really try to keep his position as P1 in the race and try to get across the line in that position there. Down in the back here we got Royal Harvey chasing after Marsh here still for P4 in the race, and a bit of contact I think almost between the two of them, but the Ferrari of Marsh gets off track. Royal Harvey goes up into P4. That is Marsh down to 5th in the race there right now, and loses out on another position because of that bit of incident there going off track. So let's see if he's able to finish P5. Remember, penalties are in play here as well. Wayne Bennett has no penalties down there in 7th. Infamous down in the back has no penalties. We'll see how that's going to work out with them. And we're still following Ace versus King, chasing after Saf right now, trying to get by. And looks like he's going to go side by side and fight it off for that position to go into P8 in the race. And looks like he gets the position up there, still going side by side for it. Let's see who comes out of this one out in front. Out in front, we got Bollocks and Ian fighting it back once again for the lead of the race on the final lap of the Hungarian GP right now. So let's have a look on how that's going as they have already entered into the final lap, lap 18, and going through. And so far seems to be going pretty well, but looks like Ian might have to settle for 2nd place in the race. But what a drive to get up to 2nd at this point. He's gained quite a lot of positions, as we can see here. He's getting 11 positions from the start of this race. Royal Harvey as well, they gained 10 positions from the start of this race. We can't have two driver of the days, but still, those two have driven pretty well. Even Spoon Dog, they're getting up 8 positions in the race, so quite an interesting race as we have it here going so far. And Bollocks there, he's done already 17 laps on those sides. I don't think he took a pit stop even in this race. So let's see what that's going to cause at the end here. Yep, he didn't take a pit stop. Marsh there did not take a stop as well as we have it. And We're going to leave this on penalties as they get around the final lap here. Final few turns to go before they get across the line. And let's see how positions are going to be kept and lost because of penalties here right now. We still got Ian trying to get by Bollocks here, even on the final turn as we're getting run back onto the pit straight here right now. Looks like Bollocks is going to go across the line for P1 here for the Hungarian GP, and does take that. Ian takes second place in the race. Not a bad finishing position for him. We got Spoondog here coming around. He is going to be able to take third place on the podium in the McLaren. So we got two Red Bulls that I think that was finishing P1, P2. As I said, the Red Bulls seem to be performing pretty well on the track. Or maybe it could just be the drivers there as well. So we got Spoondog getting across the line here right now and takes third place on the podium for the Hungarian GP. Then we got Royal Harvey coming across, taking P4. And then we got Marsh here taking P5. We got Castor France coming around here right now. He should be able to take P6 in the race. As he gets across the line 6, we got Ace versus King for 7th. We got Soft there for 8th, and we got Wayne Bennett to take 9th place in the race there. Infamous, unfortunately, not able to finish the race there either. So that was 9 drivers across the line only for us, but still quite an exciting classic race there. And we got Wayne here getting around the final turn right now, about to get across the line. So let's wait and have a look at him as he gets across here. Okay, so that is it there for the Hungarian GP for that 25%. We're going to head straight on over to the Yas Marina circuit here right now for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. So let's have a look and see. Royal Harvey got driver of the day for that one there. Quite an exciting race. Got to give it to him. Drove pretty well in the race. Even the other drivers, Ian and Spoondog as well, drove pretty well in this race. So got to say, all of these guys are quite an exciting race to them. A lot of really good unclean overtakes as we saw it there. A few incidents, yes, but that does happen, especially with limited practice on these cars, as these guys have had over the past week getting up to today. So quite an interesting race. Let's have a look at our final results for this race before we head on over to the Yas Marina circuit. Alright, so there we have it. So we got Bollocks taking P1 on the podium there. Ian takes second place on the podium, and Spoondog takes third place on the podium for this one here. We got 2 Red Bulls and a McLaren on the podium, so not a bad finish at all. No Ferrari in it, unfortunately. We got Royal Harvey taking P4, Marsh takes P5, Castor France takes 6, Ace versus King takes 7, Soft takes 8. We got Wayne Bennett finishing in 9th. Unfortunately, who did not finish race was Infamous there in 10th, Champion 11, Column 12, King Schemo 13, Lost Dog there in 14th. Unfortunate for them, but let's see how they perform in the next session coming up right now. So give us about 2 minutes to get onto that session, guys, and hopefully we'll have another great race once again. Okay, so we're on at the Yas Marina circuit here right now for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and we're on with our one-shot qualifying here. We're following on with Callum here right now, so let's have a look who we're going to be following all the way to the end of this one here. I think we're on with Ian here right now. Let's see how his lap is going to go as he gets around this track. Quite a fun track to actually drive at, and this was one of the first circuits I actually learned to drive when playing F1 games. When I started off first, that was back when I started. The first game I think I played was F1 2013. That was back quite a way ago. And yeah, so that's why I started on. Actually, you had a training program you had to do when you actually had to drive here at the Yas Marina circuit. So actually no choice, you had to actually end up doing it. But it still was a lot of fun learning the game at that point. And then I got on to the early games, back out onto F1 2010, 2011, and getting all the way up. Right now, we have it to F1 2020, and soon in a few months we should be able to have the F1 2021 game. Hopefully we're looking forward to that one, and it should be quite interesting as well. So Castor France already out of this qualifying session, as we can see there right now, and let's see who's going to be finishing with a good lap here to start P1 in this race, which is going to be vital at this point. And it looks like Ian is doing pretty well in the qualifying here so far. It's a one-shot qualifying that we have it, and then we're going to get on to a 25% race around here, and we quite enjoyed the one that they just had around the Hungarian for the Hungarian GP, and that was quite fun. So let's see how this one is going to go. Should be quite fun as well. The Red Bull performed pretty well on that track, as we saw, as we did have 2 Red Bulls and 1 McLaren on the podium there, and Bollocks took P1 for that race. Currently he's running P4 in the qualifying session here right now for the one lap that we have going on with that. Let's see if he's able to probably get a better starting position, but let's see how that's going to work out. He started P1 in the previous race, fell on a few positions, and then gained the position back again before getting to the end. And looks like Royal Harvey took the fastest lap on this one at 140.781. Ian took second fastest lap, which is not too bad of a start. Actually, he did finish second in the previous race and climbed the ladder for about 11 positions up from the start of this race. So let's see how that's going to go for him here at the Yas Marina circuit. Should be quite a fun race, as well as it's starting to get a bit dark. We can see all the lights coming on already. Alright, so that is our starting rate as we have it there for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, as we have it here. So Royal Harvey is going to start P1, Ian starts second, we got Infamous starting third, Bollocks starts fourth, Ace versus King is going to start fifth, we got Lost Duck is going to start sixth, Saf is going to start seventh, King Schemo 8th, we got Spoondog starting 9th, Callum starts 10th, Marsh 11th, Wayne Bennett 12th, and Castor France there 13th. I think one of our drivers are not able to make a second race here. Unfortunate for them, but you know, hope things do happen, so they're going to have to just head off, so that's okay. We got 13 drivers to get off in this session here. Let's see how that's going to go for the race start. Hopefully it's a clean off start as the previous race that we had, and hopefully everyone is able to finish the race at this point and actually finish off for the session as well. We'll see how it works out, but hopefully we can have everybody finish the race. It's going to be a lot of fun to see that, and it's going to be quite interesting as well. As we can see from the previous race, these guys do have a little bit of trouble in terms of the amount of practice they had to get these cars to full handling capability, just to keep the cars fully on track and just avoid losing the rear sometimes, because you cannot get on the power fully as you would like with the regular cars. You do have to be a bit careful with it, because it's quite easy to lose the rear and have the car go away from you and just end up into the barriers on the side of the track. But let's see how that's going to go. So for everyone joining on the stream, for everyone watching the video, please guys, make sure you guys do leave a like on the video for us, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the 2 races that we had happening here today. So we're on to the second race right now. Hopefully you guys are going to enjoy this one as it goes through. Make sure you guys leave that like on the video. Do subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, because that does help us out a lot. And remember, there is a link in the channel, in the video description, to get onto our Discord and to have a look at how our random Saturdays events works. And we're about to get started here right now. Here we go with the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Royal Harvey and Ian getting a start. Let's see, and looks like Ian gets a better start, and he's going to take it on the inside through turn 1 and does get that position. Let's see, they're still fighting it out through for that position. The Royal Harvey still holding on to the lead as we have it. Down in the back we have a few cars trying to fight it out for positions there as well, trying to have a look what's happening out front, as we're going to bring a few stats on screen for you guys here right now. And let's leave that on the tires, and let's see how that is gonna go. Actually, let's take tires off. I really don't think we need tires on here right now. So far so good on that race. So everyone got away pretty well, I would say, here right now. Ian chasing after Royal Harvey here, and let's see who's coming down behind. It is Infamous there in 3rd place in the race right now, getting a good run in the slipstream of Ian's car and going right down to this turn here, which is quite tricky to get around. Sometimes you're gonna have to be a bit careful getting on the power after really get around here. Let's have a look at the rest of the grid as we have it, but we got Infamous here. He's pushing on through to get by Ian here at the moment. Let's see if that's going to go anywhere for him. But we does have Bollocks and Lost Duck all coming in a train just behind him. Ace versus King Saf as well, very, very close by. And Ian and Infamous fighting for that position as they go side by side. Infamous looks like he's getting up into second place in the race, and that is Ian down to third. Unfortunately, if that does happen, they're still fighting it through. A bit of contact, I think, between the two cars, but you got Bollocks and Lost Duck coming just behind. So this is going to be interesting to see what's going to happen here. But Infamous gets up into second. Ian still fighting it back though to try and keep the position. Now fighting it with Bollocks there. A car goes a bit off track, and I think that's Bollocks there losing that. As we get around now, we're on with Ian still running P3. Still have to fight back for his position. Lost Duck now running P4. Ace versus King gets past him, and the two of them are going side by side down in the back of the track, both getting a bit off track here as well. Royal Harvey out in front, getting the fastest lap in this race and running pretty well out front. 2.4 seconds as these guys are fighting it out through down in the back. Bollocks here trying to fight back for his positions here right now between him, Ace versus King, and Lost Duck, who's now going a bit wide on track. Ace versus King might try to get by and get back into fourth place if he can here right now. Ian chasing after Infamous once again to fight back for second place in the race, and let's see if he's able to get that position back up. Currently following on with Ace versus King. He's still a pretty close gap between quite a few drivers here right now, all fighting it off for a very good position in the race. Lost Duck losing some time to Ian there though. Ian getting very close after Infamous again and going down this straight. Let's see if that's, and Infamous trying to keep him out of the slipstream right now, going side to side on the track and not allowing him to keep an out slipstream to give him any advantage and tow him down the straight. So quite an interesting move from Infamous there, trying to keep Ian out of that slipstream, and might have worked him maybe just a little bit because Ian was not able to get by or not even able to get enough of a tow, but he did get pretty close off behind. So a very close gap between the two of them, as you can see right now. Ian is still trying to keep him out of any possible slipstream to give him any sort of advantage here right now. Ace versus King is about 2.6 seconds behind, so he really needs to catch up. And we think we had Infamous with a problem here. He spun around on track. I'm not sure if he had any contact with Ian's car, but Ian is now up into second place in the race as we have it here right now. That is Ace versus King up into third. Bollocks now runs into fourth. Saf runs fifth. Lost Duck runs sixth, and Mosh there just behind Lost Duck here. And he's going to chase after him, try to get around that position if he can. Wayne Bennett has retired from the race, unfortunately, and that's happened somewhere on track with his car probably stuck into the barriers down at the side. So he's definitely out of the race with 100% there. Unfortunate for Wayne Bennett, and we'll see if we're able to see his car by the time we get around. That's Ian with the fastest lap right now, so Ian pushing pretty hard through this race as we have it there at the moment. I don't think we'll be able to see Wayne Bennett's car by the time we get around to that portion of the track. That's somewhere in sector 2, I think that is there, or is it just at the entrance of sector 3? And this is March going a little bit too wide here and almost losing the car actually there. So let's see what's happening there now. Infamous catching up to March here right now pretty quickly as well, as we can see. And this is going to be a 14 lap race, by the way, guys, just in case you guys didn't notice that. So it's going to be 14 laps. We're already on lap 3 though, and continue on through. We lost one driver in the race so far. As let's have a look up front if we can and see if we'll be able to see Wayne Bennett's car on track, which is we're about to get around to that portion of the track here right now. So is his car still on track? Oh, I think his car is, no, it's not on track. My bad on that. I did have a feeling like they might have been there. And Bollocks gets a penalty down at the back there. Not having the best of races, I assume. Let's have a look at the penalties that he does have. And it's a 3-second penalty so far. Oh, and definitely having some trouble in this race, and he might be retiring that car going that slow there. I'm not sure. Let's get back out in front here and have a look what's happening here right now though. So a bit of a gap starting to form between most of our drivers so far, but we got Callum and Spoondoggy here. Spoondoggy goes wide though and allows Callum to get by up into 9th place in the race. And Ian gets fastest lap once again with that 2010 Red Bull out in front there in P2. He's going to be catching up to Royal Harvey pretty soon with that sort of pace. 2.3 seconds is where the gap is between him and Royal Harvey. He was very close to getting away with the lead of the race in the previous race that we had here for the Hungarian GP. And he's running pretty well in this one so far, I gotta say. So on lap 4 right now of 14, I'm going through. We got a virtual safety car right now. Something's happened to Bollocks. I think he's probably retired or probably crashed a car somewhere on track. That's happened somewhere in sector 3 there. Unfortunate for him, we got the 11 drivers still left in this race. So let's see how that's going to go with everyone else. Okay, so that virtual safety car should be over pretty quickly, and there it is, already over already. And Sav getting a driver's penalty for speeding under the VSC. That's going to hurt his wrist quite a bit, as he's running there in P4 right now. So let's see how that's going to work out for him when he does serve that driver's penalty within the next 3 laps, which he has to do it. And out in front, we got Ian 2.8 seconds behind Ron Harvey, still catching up to him. I'm trying to catch up to him, having a bit of trouble there, losing a few tenths actually. That's why he's up to 3 seconds right now. He's gonna have to try and catch back up if he can here. And Royal Harvey out in front, running pretty well, we gotta say, using that 2010 Red Bull. As you can see, the Red Bull is working pretty well on both tracks so far. Alright, so let's have a look at Ian here right now. So running in a Red Bull as well. Ace versus King running in a McLaren. So far it's a Red Bull 1-2 finish, and a McLaren finishing third on the podium again if things continue as it is here right now. And looking quite similar to I think what we had actually happen around the 2010 era back then, because we did have Sebastian Vettel driving the Red Bull at that point where he won 4 World Championships in a row actually. And I think at that point, Lewis Hamilton was driving the McLaren, which Ace versus King is currently driving here right now at a pretty good point in his career at that point as well. But it was the Red Bull that dominated around that time, and it seems to be the exact thing that's happening in this race here right now. So quite interesting to see with the performance of the cars. So we're not entirely sure. Does this have anything to do with the drivers, or does it have anything to do with the car? Of course, it's on equal performance as well with the cars. I believe it should be on equal performance. So still, it's fun to see the Red Bull still dominating the races here in the actual session that we have going on here right now for the actual 2010 era for the cars that we're using. I want to see how that's working out. Or actually, the guys making it work out that way as it is there right now. But a close gap right now between Cas de France and Lost Duck here. 2 Red Bulls fighting it out for that position for P5 in the race, and let's see how that's working out for them. But quite an interesting set of events that the L2S League has going on here on this Saturday for their classics race that they do every single week. And it's a different era. I had to look at the calendar that they do use. It's quite interesting to see they're using a different era every single Saturday that they do have a race. And I think they have about maybe 13 races or so on the calendar for it. I really can't remember how many it was. But I think this is the second week that they're having a race. Is the second round for the Classics League that they have going on, and it's interesting to see how it's working out. And I think they do a bunch of 5-lappers for one session, and then the next week they do an era like this, and then they switch it on wrong again just to make it interesting on their side as well. And that's why we kind of decided to just do the Classics League with them for the first random Saturday, which was supposed to be next week, but I wanted to start off something for this week as well and get us going to see just how it's going to work out. And hopefully next week we're going to have another interesting race from another league as well on this Saturday. We'll see who's going to be that. We already have 1 submission in the Discord for the next week's random Saturday, and that is currently for an Xbox League for a 100% race and a full qualifying session. So let's see how many more requests we're going to have come in and to support with that there. But if you guys are interested, just make a submission in the Discord in the relevant sections, and we'll get into that by the time we get around to Thursday, which I think is when the submissions will close off. So Discord link is in the video description for anyone who wants to have a look at that currently as we have it there. Once again, guys, for everyone joining on to our session here, welcome to the race session that we have going on with L2S Classics here for our first random Saturday race event. And quite enjoying this session as I have seen it go on so far. I'm still following on right now with Lost Duck and Cas de France as they chase each other around. And yep, so link in the video description, guys, to get onto our channel Discord and have a look at the random Saturdays event, which you can actually post a request for next week. And we'll be doing quite a lot of different things, so I'll be posting what exactly you guys need to do, what kind of events I'm looking to do on the Saturdays. So currently for next week is just about posting for whichever league you want me to stream for, and there are some requirements for it as well. So look into that before you do make a request, otherwise it will be denied or deleted off of the request page. So just be careful about that when you do it, guys, because we do need permission and stuff from leagues whenever you're doing that sort of stuff, especially for a league that I'm not used to streaming for, which is kind of the idea, to get more leagues involved and doing a different league every single Saturday just to, you know, widen our well, just the amount of people that we usually do deal with on a weekly basis in terms of esports races as well. So still following all right now, Castle France and Last Duck as I'm talking here. Still following the two of them. A pretty close gap, under a second between the two. Out in front, we're on lap 7 of 14 right now. Soft and Marsh down in the back is switching position. What's happening? And Marsh has gone off track. Lost the car just a bit. And it's just quite interesting how the rear wing of the Ferrari was white during the 2010 era here. As we can see, it was quite an interesting color scheme on the car. I think they had something very similar for... Oh, and that's Marsh losing the Ferrari, getting it wrong. And he's getting on the grass. He's going to get back going on track again. And that's what I was saying. I think we had something very similar back for the 2017 Ferrari. I think it had some white on that car as well. Quite similar to something that we have here. I'm not sure if the entire wing was white, but I think it did have some white on it as well. Of course, the design of the car was so much more different because that was about 7 years later with the car as it was. But yeah, quite interesting to see the liveries of the F1 team cars back from different eras as well. Let's get back out in front right now with Ian and Royal Harvey. 3.9 seconds between these two as they continue to chase each other along the track on lap 8 of 14. And Ian doing pretty well in both races. He finished second in the previous race, the Hungarian GP, and he's currently about to finish second in this race. We got 3 drivers with penalties so far. Marsh into the pits right now, probably repairing some damage on that car. Let's have a look right now at penalties as we have it. We do have 6 seconds of penalties for Lost Dog, 3 seconds for Spoon Doggy, Soft has 3 seconds, and 5 seconds there for Marsh, who's about 27 seconds behind King Schemo there, running in 8th. So really not a good point for him. King Schemo not having any penalties, but he does need to get within 3 seconds of Soft there in order to get a position up in this race when we do get to the finish there. So let's see if he's going to be able to do that. But 2 exciting races we've had here going on. 1 finish already. We're coming down to the end of the second race here right now. And just about 6 laps more to go. So it's quite a way more to go actually before we get to the end of the race. So quite interesting to see how it's going on. And a bit of a gap starting to form between most of our drivers, at least for this session as we have it here right now. We're going to go back down here to Last Duck and get on board with him in the 2010 Red Bull as he's going around and see how he's getting through that here right now. So quite a different design on the cars back then. As we can see, tires are a little bit different there as well from what we do have right now. As you can see how they are. The performance level was quite different at that point as well, especially with the cars and the handling, and you can still feel it in the game, even at least as it is. Remember, it is a sim game. They do have to make it that much more realistic for us to actually get a sense of how the cars handled around that era there, just to show you how the difficulty at which it was with. So gap right now 2.1 seconds between Last Duck and Castle France here, so starting to go away a bit, so he's not really doing too much in terms of catching up at the moment. And King Schemo there has lost a bit of time as well to the car in front. And Soft gets a 3-second penalty. Now that's going to help King Schemo here. Let's have a look at him here right now. So gap is now 7.3 seconds between King Schemo and Soft. And if he's able to catch up to Soft and keep the gap within 6 seconds, he's going to be able to get away with a 7th place in the race. But really not going to be an easy feat for him. He does need to push a little bit further on. And the gap is now up to 8.6 seconds. So he's 1.6 seconds behind from where he needs to be at this point here right now. We're getting a yellow flag there in Sector 2. I think that was for Soft probably having a bit of a mistake, because gap is now down to 1.3 seconds and closing between him and Soft. So Soft has a mistake, and he lost the car a bit and lost a lot of time actually. And looks like King Schemo is going to get a free pass of getting 7th place in the race if he's able to keep up with Soft going to the finish line here right now, or maybe even able to get by at this point. We'll see how that works out, because he is now close gap to under a second, and he's going to keep pushing on through that. As I said, it's very easy to make mistakes with these cars on track, especially providing these guys have not had that much practice with them. Alright, so let's have a look what's happening right now. So King Schemo still chasing after behind him, but he's starting to lose back some time here right now. 1.7 seconds is already the gap back up, already over a second. So Saf is getting away pretty well, I gotta say, from him. I'm gaining quite a bit, so he does need to gain over 6 seconds within the next 4 laps. I think that's quite enough time actually to do it, so he might actually be able to pull that off and get that gap going and keep 7th place in the race, as he has it right now. Okay, the gap is going away pretty quickly. Back out in front with Royal Harvey and Ian here, fighting it off for the lead of the race. Of course, not actually fighting it as yet, because the gap is still about 2.6 seconds between Harvey and Ian, which he does need to break down quite quickly if he wants to get up and win this race. And now has a 3-second penalty, unfortunately, for Ian, which is going to cost him the race win again, even if he does get a gap close enough and gets by into P1 at this point. So he's kind of cost himself here just a bit. The same way, very similar situation what happened with the Hungarian GP just a while ago. But looks like he still might be able to get a 2nd place finish, because Ace versus King is running about 6.8 seconds behind. And interesting to see that as well. So we'll see how this is going to work out going down to the finish line. But quite interesting so far with what we have happening in the race. And there is a bit of a gap starting to form between most of our cars as we have it. But Ian here doing purple sectors in that Red Bull there right now. So he's running pretty well and getting through. Last Doc here coming in the McLaren in about 7.7 seconds behind. So still, he has some time to catch up if he does want to get that position. King Schemo here catching back up to Saf once again. I think Saf might have made another mistake. So that's allowed King Schemo to catch her back. I think he's going to be pretty happy about this. We're on lap 11 right now, and he seems to be catching up more and more to Saf at the moment. Let's see if he's able to keep the gap as close as it is right now, and hopefully maybe get an overtake done and get that car up into P7 in this race. Much unfortunate with a 5-second penalty, and he's about 38 seconds running in 9th there right now. Oh, and that is a 3-second penalty for King Schemo right now. Needs to keep that gap within 3 seconds now as it is, if he wants to get P7 in the race, and that's going to be a little more difficult to do at this point here right now, because Saf does have a bit of an advantage somehow of with some significant pace to catch ahead and get a gap going. It's already up to 1.2 seconds. Let's see if that's going to work. Out in front, Ian, after getting a penalty, is now catching up to Royal Harvey. Breaks the gap down to under half a second, and looks like he might be able to get his overtake done with before the end of the race. We're on lap 12 right now going through here. Let's see how this battle is going to go on through between these two, because so far it's going pretty well. And there goes Ian side by side with Royal Harvey, and it's going to bit of contact between the two of them. I think you're trying to get up into the lead right now, and he's going to take it on the inside of that turn, and looks like he's going to get the position up. That is Ian taking away the lead of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix right now, and up into P1 he goes, but does have a 3-second penalty and has just about under 2 laps to get the gap above 3 seconds if he wants to keep that lead right now. On board we're going right now, Royal Harvey, who's lost the lead, and Ian trying to keep Royal Harvey out of his slipstream at the moment. Doesn't want to give him a toe down that straight. And let's see if that's going to work for him, if he's able to keep his car in P1, but still not a bad overtake, getting up into P1 in this race. Caught up quite a bit there to actually get that done. I'm not sure if Royal Harvey made some sort of significant mistake out in front, which might have caused Ian to actually catch up so quickly, but still quite a good driving, keeping up the gap as it was, and then getting up into P1 here. He might be crossing the line P1, but he will not keep it unless he does get a 3-second gap going here right now. So I want to follow on with these two down to the finish line as we have it in the next 2 laps to go. So they need to keep driving as consistently as they can here right now for the next 2 laps, both of them, if they want to keep positions as they have it. Because any sort of mistake off of Ian's end is going to allow Royal Harvey to get by or back up into the lead of the race. And we're about to enter into lap 13 of 14 for this race here right now at the Yas Marina circuit. So quite interesting to see how this is going to play out down at the end. Gap is starting to go up to a second between them, but Ian still needs another 2 seconds within the next lap and a half in order to keep the race win at this point here right now. So quite critical for him to increase that gap as fast as he can. Right now we're at 1.2 second for that gap, 1.3 second right now. and he is actually increasing the gap, so let's see how that's going. So Ian is driving pretty well up front. Gap is up to 1.5 seconds, and this is going to be a bit insane to see happen if Ian is able to get that gap up to 3 seconds in the next lap and actually keep the race win for this session here. Going to be very interesting to see. That gap is still going up 1.7 seconds as we have it, so Ian is pushing and putting everything into that car that he has there right now, and I don't know what he's doing, but he's finding some significant pace at this point. And Royal Harvey is having some trouble keeping up. That is a purple sector 2 off of Ian there so far for this current lap 13 of 14. At the end of this sector, he still has one more lap to get it up, and he's up to 1.9 seconds. And this is going to cut it quite close going down to the finish line at this point. Royal Harvey needs to do something at this point to try and keep that gap within 3 seconds if he wants to keep the race win, as he's going to have it by default when Ian gets across the line with that 3-second penalty. So 1.7 seconds. We're starting to go back down with the gap here right now. We might have spoken a bit too soon about this, but it's going and coming a bit. Let's see what's going to happen as we're about to go and enter into the final lap of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix right now. Ian gets across the line. That is the final lap. That's the fastest lap so far in this race, as he has it there, 141.236 and a gap of 1.8 seconds. Let's see if he's able to push before he gets across the line, because he doesn't have another lap to go and do this again. Castle France now getting the fastest lap, 141.112 down the back, and it doesn't look like Ian might be able to get this, because Royal Harvey is pushing as much as he can, trying to keep the gap under 2 seconds at least for now, as he has it there right now. And we can see a few more cars with gap with penalties down the back. We'll see how it works out for them as they get across the line in just a bit as well. But we're going to follow on with this battle that we have going on here between Ian and Royal Harvey. Down the straight they go, and Ian is getting quite an interesting lead going through as well. 1.9 seconds as we get on through to the end of that straight, and he gets around the turn. Needs another second within the next half of a lap that he has left remaining in this race, and this is going to be very, very close between them. 2.2 seconds going right now, and I just need that gap to be 3 seconds, and does have to avoid another penalty. If Royal Harvey does get a penalty on this final sector of the track, he will lose the race win here for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. But let's see what's going to 2.4 seconds as we have it, and it's starting to go back down just a bit. Ian needs to keep his focus as much as he can to keep that lead and possibly get it up. I'm not sure. Just a few more turns to go in sector 3 as we have it here, waiting in the race, and it's going to need Royal Harvey to make some sort of mistake down at the back, which I don't think is going to happen at this point. Royal Harvey seems to have his focus on as he's getting through with his final lap here on the moment. And gap is about 2.2 seconds as we go. This was quite an insane battle between these two for the race win as we have it. We got Ian getting across the line, P1, but will not be able to keep it with a gap of 2.5 seconds. That was quite close cutting it, and that is Royal Harvey going across the line second, but takes away the race win from Ian because of that 3-second penalty. Ace versus King comes around and will finish P3 on the grid there. Castle France comes around P4. Lost Duck will come around, takes P5. I think he's getting around the final turn here right now, but what a finish between Royal Harvey and Ian there for the race win at that point. So Lost Dog goes across the line, takes P5. We got Spoon Dog come across for P6 there at the moment. Then we got Soft coming around for P7. And he might have a switch with King Schemo here. Let's have a look. No, actually, no, it's a 3.7 second gap. He won't get a switch. So Soft will be able to keep P7 in the race. Quite a close gap between the two of them for P7 here as well. Now up to 4 seconds as we have it. And going back down, just about down to 3.9. So quite close, about a second, costing King Schemo here 7th place in this race. And that is 7 for Soft. That is King Schemo going across the line, taking P8. And Marshall will come around right now. And he is still running in Sector 3, trying to get it wrong, trying to keep that car as stable as he can. So he's going to get across the line in just a bit here. And he will be taking P9 in this race. Unfortunately, we could not have Callum, Infamous Bollocks, or Wayne Bennett to finish the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. But still was a lot of fun watching this race, and quite an incredible finish between Ian and Royal Harvey. Quite a fight actually from Ian there to try and get that race win. Literally half a second is what the gap was that caused him to lose that there with that penalty. Okay, so that's the end of the race here. Let's have a look at the final results for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Was quite an exciting race. A little more exciting, gotta say, for that race finish from the Hungarian GP. And that driver of the day goes to Castle France there. Not too bad of a finish from him. Let's have a look at our results as it is. But still, I think it's once again 2 Red Bulls and a McLaren on the podium here. Alright, so let's have a look at our results. So Royal Harvey takes a race win away from Ian here, who has to settle for second place on the podium. Ace versus King has to take third place on the podium here, running behind these guys in the McLaren them. Cast de France finishes fourth on the grid. We got Lost Duck there finishing fifth. Spoondoggy finishes 6th, Soft takes 7, King Schemo takes 8 because of a second between the gap between them, and Marsh there takes 9, Callum takes 10, Infamous takes 11, Bollocks takes 12, and Wayne Bennett takes 13th on that session there. So quite an exciting result from that race there, especially for the race finish between race leaders Royal Harvey and Ian there, as they had it going through for that final lap. Was quite close between the two of them. So 2 exciting races that we had there, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the 2 races that we had here with the L2S Classics League for our first Random Saturday event for the Hungarian GP and the Abu Dhabi GP as well. So very exciting events from them, and they usually do every week. So next week we're gonna have something else happening for our Random Saturday event. I'm not sure what it's gonna be on PS4. It's gonna be on Xbox, and what sort of race, how long it's gonna be either. We'll see how that goes in terms of the voting that's going on in the Discord for that there, and hopefully we have some more submissions come in before Thursday approaches, and we'll be able to probably choose off of that. So please guys, do make sure you leave a like on the video. Thank you guys for joining on the session. Remember, if you're new on the channel, make sure you guys subscribe, and do check out the link in the video description to join onto our channel Discord and have a look at the Random Saturdays event. And feel free to make a submission for any league that you know of that might be, well, that you would like to see us do a stream for. But please make sure you guys follow the guidelines for that. So make sure you guys head over and check out that. And thank you guys once again for joining on the stream. Hope you guys enjoyed both races as I did. And I'll see you guys on the next stream, which will be tomorrow, for SNS Esports and PGL F1 Sunday Division for their races tomorrow as well. I think it's Sunday tomorrow. Yep, it is Sunday tomorrow. So 2 exciting races coming up tomorrow. That's going to be a total of 4 hours of racing. We'll see how that goes tomorrow as well. So guys, thank you guys for joining on. I'll see you guys on the next streams tomorrow.